minutes because of time constraints. I'll just go straight to the point. Will you please change the slide? I had an outline, just change it. We'll race through it. We'll go through the, basically speaking, we support small and medium enterprises. But I was told the top presentation is the promotion of, okay, the lights. They need to put up the light, I understand, because of the visibility. So I was told the topic of presentation is presenting a bankable proposal, which presumes that you have a business idea that you want to implement, that you want to execute. And the factors of production include finance, and funding is a very, very, please, is a very, very crucial factor of production. So when we say bankable proposal, we're looking at a proposal that will be acceptable to financial institutions. What does acceptability mean? It means that the project has a high probability of succeeding. Every project has its own risks, but we need to ensure that projects are properly appraised in order to enable us identify the risks and then provide mitigants for those risks. Studies have shown that projects that are not appraised, 7 out of 10 would fail. But projects that are well appraised, perhaps 2 or 3 could still fail out of 10. But it's very, very important that projects are properly appraised, because you'll be using not only your own resources, but as well as resources of other financial institutions. Your resources is what you call equity, which in most cases comes from your own savings and accounts for like maybe 30 to 40% of the entire project costs, which in essence means that 60 to 70% of the financing will come from debt, and debt will come from a financial institution. What a financial institution will give to you are savings that are mobilized from others, and they are duty bound to ensure that they return the money on demand. So when they come up with measures to ensure that projects succeed, it's because they also want to honor their obligations to their depositors. That's why you need to come up with banking proposals so that the projects will succeed. Like I said, you're talking of debt, you're talking of equity, and then the things you do with your money when you want to finance a project. You have a land, building, plant and machinery, raw materials, salaries and wages. Change the thing. Now, I tried to explain earlier why we appraise projects, to stop bad projects, to prevent good projects from going bad, to determine if the components of the projects are consistent with an organization's expertise, the current plans and strategies for the future, and can the project be implemented and operated efficiently. You need to assess the sources of risk and the magnitude of risks, do sensitivity analysis, and to determine how the risks can be reduced or shared efficiently. For example, we have a $500 million line of credit for financing SMEs that are export-oriented. You diasporans, you can take advantage of such a line of credit because we presume that you have markets out there and you know goods that would appeal to some sections in the diaspora, particularly the African community. We like eating our food and we like wearing our clothing wherever we are. Since you know those markets, you can easily draw down on the ADB line of credit, you export and you repay in hard currency because it's a foreign line of credit. So in that kind of project, when you do your sensitive analysis, that means it's sensitive to exchange rate fluctuation. Therefore, it's not conducive for the domestic market because you might not be able to increase the prices of your products in order to raise enough naira to pay for the exchange rate in case of devaluation or depreciation. Today, we are looking at a 170 to the dollar. Last year, it was basically about 150. So you're looking at 20 naira difference. How do you increase your price? There are a lot of factors that affect demand. The prices of alternative products come into play. So that's how we talk about sensitivity analysis. And then, of course, when you go to a financial institution, what are they looking at? The capacity of the borrower to be able to pay back. That's what I mean by that. You have to look at the receipts, and then you look at the expenditure, and then you have to see the cash flow to see if there'll be enough money to pay the debt. Then you look at the capital, which I talked back, no, go back a bit, the capital which I talked back earlier, that's your own savings, and then collateral. In this environment, we're not allowed to give clean loans. The credits will have to be secured. And you're talking of either assets or guarantee. Asset-based lending means you probably need to have a property or a house to pledge in case the facility goes bad. Or you get a guarantee from a bank that in case the facility goes bad, the bank would pay on bill. These are statutory requirements. They're not subject to discretion or latitude. And then, of course, condition of the borrowers, the circumstance of the economy, and then character is also very, very important. That is the lender's subjective impression of the prospective borrower. Because it's just like if you want to marry a wife and you go to the family, you go to your in-laws, you put on your best clothing, you put on you put good appearance. You need to appeal to them, to give them your daughter, for the family to give you their daughter as a wife. So when you're going to a bank, you need to find out what are the ways of impressing a banker. Because when you meet all these conditions, if the character is questionable, the banker will not lend to you. Because character is very, very, very important. That's why we said perception, integrity, and reputation, they are very, very, those are the 5 C's of credit. Change, please. And then, of course, I had explained earlier, in this environment, the big corporates don't have problems accessing credit. Most of those that have problems accessing credit are those in the middle class. And that's where the diasporans will fall. The diasporans are not part of the bottom of the pyramid because those are the poor of the poor, those are underserved, and those who don't have access to funding at all. So those are the areas, and I did explain earlier, you need to have security before. But then we try to hold your hands when you come to this environment. We know you don't know this terrain, but we try to make life as comfortable as possible, being a development finance institution. We're not a commercial bank, and that's what she was trying to explain to you. The Bank of Industry owes its origin to the Nigerian Industrial Development Bank that was established in 1964 by the International Finance Corporation. We lend long-term for between 5 to 6, 7 years, and the interest rate is highly subsidized by the Nigerian government. It ranges between 4 and 10% depending on the various lines. If you must have seen papers today, yesterday we signed an MOU with the Ministry of Agriculture for a 4.3 billion naira facility to support cassava bread in Nigeria. So that's why we say the interest rate for that is single digit. We also manage the cotton, textile, and garment industry scheme, which is meant for supporting the high end and the other ends of the value chain in the garment industry. That goes for like about 7%. Well, that's talking about Bank of Industry. In the last 10 years, we've done business to the tune of about 170 billion naira, which is almost $1 billion US. We support diasporas, like I did mention. In fact, we have one of the most successful case studies as the House of Foods. They've been based in London for almost 30 years. And we met with them. They import processed agricultural products from other African countries, South America, and in Malaysia. And they've developed expertise, EU certified. I said, look, why are you patronizing other African countries, South America and South Asia, and not Nigeria? Well, Nigeria is difficult, can be daunting. So we brought them to Nigeria. We took them to the state government. They have a land in Abuja. They've been able to set up a processing plant. If you have some of our publications, you'll probably see them. Yeah, that particular one you're holding in your hand, sir, you'll find them inside there as a House of Foods, and they process fish and to international standard. We know you have expertise in those areas, and that's why we're talking about brain drain to brain gain. So we're trying to make sure that the skills you've acquired there, you bring them back. And then a number of them too have also been able to bring back some of their business partners. Because if I go there as a Nigerian, the man will be reluctant to listen to me or the lady. But if a Nigerian who's lived with him or her for 20, 30 years, say, look, let me take you to my country and do business together, he will follow that person before he follows me. But then you will listen to me as well too. So it's a chain. So you believe in me, then your business partner believes in you, then you come in. There are a lot of resources that can be brought to this country in that process. Those are the various lines of credit I was telling you about that are operated by the Bank of Industry. They have different rates. The Greek one is the one I asked Eric. That was the one that we signed yesterday. And that was the ADB line of credit I was talking about. We have a $4 million line of credit with the UNDP as well, meant for renewable energy. So we have 6 zonal offices across Nigeria. We don't have too much time. What we're saying is that We will hold your hands into the Nigerian economy and we'll give you soft landing. We render business support services. We have 3 legs, one in the private sector, the international development community, and in government. And those are majorly the promoters or facilitators of development in any environment. So what are we saying? From all indications, successful project promotion can be very, very daunting anywhere. It's not only in Nigeria. So you must be passionate, go into an area where you are familiar with, go to an area where you love, because that's the only way you can stay focused. Because if you are not passionate, if it's not an area you like, at the slightest irritation, you run away. But if it's an area you have competitive advantage and you believe you can efficiently convert into competitive advantage, then of course you need a consultant to help you to prepare a banking proposal. It's not the duty of the entrepreneurs to prepare banking proposals. And there are institutions that can help you. We have the SMED, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, and then we have enterprise development centers. The central bank has some, and then some academic institutions also have enterprise development centers like Lagos Business School of the Pan-African University. I'm aware that University of Ibadan also have an enterprise development center. So those, they have expertise, they have resources, and of course we have some other consultancy firms like Deloitte, Akitola Williams, Ernst & Young. They also support small business. So you need to approach any one of them to help you put together a business plan. Yes, the environment can be very daunting. In spite of that, globally, we are ranked number 4 in the world in terms of returns on investment at 34.5%. This was by UNCTAD. These are not Nigerian figures. And then in terms of foreign direct investment to Africa, Nigeria, for the 2nd year running, we've led other African countries in spite of our challenges. So what are we saying? Once you get the business model right, suitable funding would be available. A bankable proposal essentially contains economic, financial, risk, and distributive analysis, as we've earlier explained. So we're not saying that business in Nigeria is a bed of roses. No, nowhere in the world where you have that kind of situation. But what we're saying is that once you get the business model right, it's a vibrant market. We have 170 million today, and this population is projected to hit 700 million by 2050. And steps are being taken, historic steps are being taken to fix the challenges in the Nigerian economy. For example, power. In the next 2-3 years, by the time the privatized enterprises implement their programs, that will increase electricity supply in the country. If we are able to achieve these results with current state of infrastructure in Nigeria, as infrastructure improves, the returns on investment will continue to improve, and more direct investments continue to come into Nigeria. Thank you very much.